What's up, everybody? It's Joe from the Acceptable Casualties. We're back today with a product review. We're going over the hill set that Russ from Sic Creations sent over to me. I have the Desert Hill set that he's put together. I have the Woodlands Hill set that he's put together. So let's just kind of dig into it and see what this stuff's made of. What's up, everybody? It's Joe from the Acceptable Casualties. So we're back here. Going to take a look at some of the hills that Russ sent him. We got the Desert Hill set, we got the Woodland Hill set, and you know what, let's just dive in. We're gonna skip right through the banter, just kind of get down to it. So over here, I got the Desert Hill set that Russ ended up sending me from Sic Creations. Awesome set. Just had it on the table the other night. I was just kind of messing around, doing some small games, and I gotta say, these things have really grown on me. If you guys watch our other battle reports, you guys see I use some other hill sets from some different makers. Typical, you know, oval, circular base hills, kind of just the dome look to them. You know, they're functional, work great on the tabletop. But after kind of getting these on there, they have such an organic feel with the shapes, how different all of them are. It's not really redundant when you get a couple of hills on the table. Each one has its own personality. And it really blends in a lot better with the terrain when you have your trees and your buildings and your roads and everything's kind of coming together. It just feels like a piece of the table as opposed to just a piece of terrain on the table. So like I said, it's one of those things you don't really realize till you get it in your hands, and you guys will see it when I start putting some battle reports up. Maybe even this week or next week. It just kind of depends on what my schedule looks like. But you guys will start seeing these on the table more, and you're going to see a pretty big difference as far as how well these look compared to my other stuff. Like I said, they're really, really nice, and I really appreciate what he's been able to do until I've been able to get them in my hands. So looking down here, this is his desert terrain set right now. If you guys look, like I said, he makes some longer, thinner pieces for like some dunes. Like there's all different sorts of stuff here, different types of hills. If I can get down here a little bit lower, you guys can see the elevations and stuff like that, as far as like the slopes on the edges and everything else that go with it. He does this in a layered plywood. So if you look on the back, yeah, these are all made of wood. And he does it in plywood layers. So I mean, these things they're I'm gonna get like bloody knuckles doing this, but yeah, like you can beat the hell out of these things and you're not gonna damage them. It's pretty awesome. And he does all the little detail work too with you know, your rocks. If you go up for each one of these pieces, he does like a little bit of rock face on all of them. Some of them have a little more than others, kind of dips around into the other ones. So like, yeah, there's a lot of love put into these pieces, and he does all these by hand. So one of the cool things is usually buy a set, I think it's like 4 or 5 hills that come per set. Every hill that he puts together, it has its own shape, its own feel, its own details, and everything else to go with it. So you're never going to get 2 hills that look the same or look remotely even close to each other, even if you buy multiple sets, which is kind of cool because when you put stuff on the table, you want it to look like it's its own unique hill or your own unique piece of terrain, and these sets give that. You know, if you buy other hills from, we'll just say like, you know, big box companies or, you know, a place that maybe just does like mass hill sets, you might have like 1 or 2 that are different, but you know, eventually, you know, you're gonna have to start buying doubles of the same thing if you buy from one particular retailer, and you start noticing that when you're playing games. So what's kind of cool about this is, you know, if you buy 2 sets, that gives you like 8 different hills, and they all look different. And you know, it's kind of cool. It just blends into your table really, really well. Another thing I wanted to point out for these is the fabric on top. These are all fabric, and it's like a tough felt. It might not even be felt, but whatever it is, it's a really like durable fabric on here. They're kind of nice. It's almost, I don't say it's like anti-slip, but it is. So on the slopes, if you guys have noticed when you guys play some war games on some stuff, they don't slide off the edges, which is kind of nice. So they stay on, and I know that's like a huge pet peeve of mine, even for the hills that I have now. You'll be playing a game, you'll have like, you know, control of a hillside, or you'll be moving your guys up a hill, and then if it's the just a regular felt top hill, I'm sorry, the regular like just like static grass that you put on like your typical hill, or if you do dirt or sand and then you paint over the top of it to kind of seal it, models tend to slip once you start getting into those higher grades as far as the angles of the hills. On these hill sets, I mean, for the most part, they stay. I mean, which is kind of cool. You don't have to keep repositioning your models or set up like, you know, a marker, like, you know, you guys slides down the hill down to here, but he's supposed to be somewhere up here, so you set like a small token or something like that to show where your troops are. You don't have to do that really with these, which is kind of nice. And like I said, it's something I didn't notice until I actually started rolling some dice and getting a chance to play with the hills on the tabletop. So it's like another like little thing, really, really cool with this fabric. I wasn't sure how the fabric was going to work as soon as when I opened the box. Like I said, they looked really nice, but like that's like one of those like little hidden things that you really don't pick up on. Another thing I kind of wanted to point out too, and this is just me messing around and just actually just, you know, thinking about how much of an upgrade this would be as far as, you know, you wanting to buy these for your table or your club or maybe the store you work at. And I was thinking about it, and so usually, if you guys have been playing long enough, and most of you have, you guys go to your gaming club or you go to your store that you play at, and a lot of people, they make the foam hills. It's easier to mold, put the shapes in, everything that goes with it. Super cheap to kind of put together, but the downside is you got enough people playing on it, you know, after a couple months, you start getting dings in it, like around like the lips and the edges and stuff like that for some of those hills that you might put together at your gaming club. You know, you have this nice green, you know, nice green hill with this big chunk of pink or bright blue foam sticking out of the corner of it, and you know, then you got to do patchwork on it, or sometimes you just got to trash the hill because, you know, put enough hours in on it, things are going to end up wearing down. You got enough people playing on it. It's just how it goes when you're at the gaming clubs or when you're just, you know, playing with your groups. With these, I mean, like I said, man, I beat the hell out of this thing before and I'll do it again. These things are solid wood, and like I said, the edges, man, they're not flimsy, man. This is like plywood and it's layered. You can probably buy this thing. Like I said, I haven't had them long enough, but I would say years, I think, before you'd even start noticing any kind of wear and tear, if you even noticed it at all. Like, these things are really, really, really tough. So if you guys have larger gaming clubs and you guys are looking to upgrade your hills or just add some terrain for some tables, even at the stores that you guys play at and they're looking to do the same thing for them, this might be something worth mentioning because this seems like it would be a one-time purchase and you guys would be set as far as not having to worry about doing a hobby day and everybody patching up hills, or, you know, wasting your guys', you know, budget time or anything like that to have to do touch-ups. You wouldn't have to worry about that anymore, which is, you know, kind of a nice thing when you start looking at a bigger scale as far as making a purchase for your guys' gaming communities. So this is another thing to kind of keep in mind. It's like I said, it's a really sturdy and a really, really good product worth looking at. Another thing too, and I'll wrap it up on this, is you buy the 4 hills, sometimes 5, I think, but I think mostly it's 4 from what I've seen what Russ has put up there so far. You buy the 4 hills, they're pretty big size. I don't know if he has the size marked on the back of this one. He doesn't. But some of them do. Most of them you're looking at on the small end for like the actual oval size hills. They're roughly a foot by like, you know, 8 to 10 inches. So like there's a pretty decent footprint. So if you buy 4 of them, you'd be pretty good as far as covering up a decent chunk of your table as far as using hill terrain and everything like that. You buy 2 sets, you'd be able to do like the Italian countryside and you'd have hills everywhere. Like it would work absolutely perfect with you just buying 2 sets. So they have a large footprint. You do spend a little bit more compared to what you would spend if you bought like the cheaper plastic or resin ones. But like I said, with those, it's not a custom job, you know what I mean? Like it's just different. Like if you guys have purchased and played on that kind of stuff, you know how it is. They're a little more generic as far as like when you buy like the big box ones. They don't look as nice on the table. There's not as much variety on the table. With these, you look at each piece, it's individually built and it has its own personality. And I bet too, if you guys wanted to, you could probably talk to Russ, send him an email over on his send him a message over on his eBay account. I'll put that link at the bottom of the description for the video, and I'll put the address at the end of it as well, so you guys can go over, maybe send him something. I know he does all of this custom, so if you had something special maybe that you wanted done, I've talked to Russ a bunch of times, and I guarantee he would at least talk to you and try to figure something out so he can put something in your hands that you guys would need for your table as far as the hills and terrain go. So like I said, I hope you guys like the review. This stuff is awesome. I'm gonna start having it on the channel a lot more for my battle reports for Hail Caesar, for Flames of War. Works really, really good for 15 mil. I assume it would work really good for 28 mil too. I don't have a lot of 28 mil stuff, so I can't really say for sure just yet, but based on what I've seen, it does look like it would work really, really well. So like I said, keep an eye out for the battle reports where we'll have the stuff featured a little bit more and you can kind of see it in action. So thanks for watching. Check out Russ over at Sic Creations on eBay. Hopefully he gets his web store up soon. When he does get his web page up, and he might be doing a Kickstarter, when all that stuff starts to come together, I'll put up another small video and a link so you guys can go check out his stuff. Like I said, he does everything. It's not just hills, man. He does like damage markers. We'll be doing hedges. He does. We'll be doing some stuff with that. Just some really nice like wooded terrain features. A lot of his stuff is really, really nice. We're gonna be taking a look at it over the next couple weeks so you guys can see what it's all about. So like I said, thanks for watching. Catch you guys later.